welcome to yet another stupendously fantastic episode of Awesome Sauce for Games, episode number 4. We got some good stuff coming for you today, but first, let's talk about a couple of things we've got on the project front here. You may or may not have noticed already a little thing we added to the channel called It's All in the Wrist. It's some additional gameplay footage, sort of similar to what we've had up for Defiance at this point since we started the channel. But this has some webcam and commentary to go along with it. So hopefully it's fun and entertaining, because it's fun and entertaining to bring to you. But that being said, some of the plans I have for that coming up might be for some classic game footage. I want to see if I can get that rolling. Let's see how that goes. Get some of those old 16-bit classics on the way. So I think that'll be some of the future plans for It's All in the Wrist. Right now I got a little bit of some test footage up there, so to speak. It's actual gameplay footage, but a test just to see how I like doing it. For Star Wars The Old Republic, I did one of the on-rails space missions, and in fact earlier today, as of right now actually, I'm uploading our gameplay footage for the original Guild Wars. So be sure to check that out as soon as it's ready on the channel, which it should be if you're watching this. It's Talk Like a Pirate Week in Guild Wars. So we got a little extra flavor to it. But to get on with the actual news of what this episode is going to be about, we have finally gotten a reveal of the super secret space project for Star Wars The Old Republic by BioWare, aka the SSSP. Now, what we have known up to this point, the reveal was actually done a couple weeks ago at one of the Cantina events. I forget off the top of my head where it was, but these are sort of like meet and greet things that they've done across the United States, and also some overseas events that the developers do, just meet and greet with the fans and stuff. And on at least the last couple of ones I'm aware of, they have handed out USB sticks with some upcoming stuff that will be in the game shortly. The one from a couple of months ago, they actually had some stuff that talked about the Bounty Hunter event and the PvP update, which is now on the test server. So this time around, for the one that was held on August 31st, I believe it was, we actually got ourselves a trailer for the super secret space project. Now, the SSSP is something that we've known about pretty much since the launch of the game, and one of the biggest complaints about Star Wars has been the lack of a real good in-depth space game. Right now, space, as you can see from our It's All in the Wrist gameplay footage, is basically just arcade type on rails what do they call it, Firefox or Star Fox, I think is the game that's often referred to being like. It's basically just on rails, and you'll get more of a feel for it if you watch that gameplay footage. It's really more or less at this point a side thing to do, like a mini game to do in the game itself. No real meat to it. I mean, it is a fun experience, but after all, people say this is Star Wars now, even though if you take all 6 movies together, I think if I remember what my calculations were, less than 10% of all those 6 official movies were actually space battles. Everything was done on land or on a space station or something like that. So even though people like to say, hey, it's Star Wars, where's the war amongst the stars? Sorry, these 6 canonized movies, these 6 official movies, really didn't have that much space battle to them. In fact, if I recall correctly, The Empire Strikes Back had 0 space battle. There was that space chase in the asteroid belt, but no real major space battle at all in that movie. The You know, the battle on Hoth. Hey, that was all on land. That was the major battle. That was on land. It was not in space. But that being said, we got to look at the trailer for the super secret space project. And basically, the way the trailer was designed, it seems like it was supposed to be some sort of an agent going in, sort of showing you some grainy gameplay footage like he's on a mission and this was actually captured while he was out flying in space around one of the objectives that will eventually be in game, that we assume. Now, in addition to this trailer, we've had a data miner out on the interwebs who posted a Reddit article not too long ago, and we will have a link to that in the description for this video. And this data miner called swtor-mined dug in a little bit to the game files and has gotten a few shots of what we presume to be the ships we will be flying in this, some of our targets, and some screenshots of what the control system is going to be like, which seems to indicate that this space flight will be off rails and it will be freeform space flight. We can fly wherever we basically want to on these space maps. PvP will be included from what we've seen. But before we dig more into that, let's take a look at the trailer that was revealed from this Cantina event a couple of weeks ago.
Shroud SS6 reporting in. Republic and Imperial starships are massing near Kuwat and other strategic worlds. Based on my findings, full-scale battle is imminent. Interception detected. Ending transmission, please advise.
And there you have it. Not quite as exciting or production value wise as good as those 3 cinematics we got before the game was released. Now that was some awesome cinematic trailers there, but regardless, it is what it is. I guess you can say that is the official announcement that yes, the SSSP has not been vaporware. It is actually and has been developed since almost since the game has been released. We've known about the SSSP in some form or another, but we didn't know much about it. Now, last summer, I was able to get a bit of information on it, because obviously looking at the trailer, it really doesn't tell you much about what's going to be in it. Now, swtor-mined has given us a lot of good information on what we can presume to be in there, but again, it's data mining. I mean, this project is still quite a ways off. Right now, we're still only looking at update 2.4 that's being tested on the PTS, hasn't even been released to live yet, which is the PvP update. And that's not going to be released to live, I think, for at least another couple of weeks to a month. If I recall correctly, they were going to put that out in October sometime. So we're quite a long ways away from the super secret space project from being anything except some marketing hype at this point. But again, if you check out the link, we're going to have the link to that Reddit article in the description. Looks like there's a lot of good stuff in there. Now, what I learned a year ago, some insider knowledge that happened to come my way, that does, like I said, that does confirm that it is free roam space flight. Some of the other stuff that I haven't looked at everything that was in SWTOR-mined yet, but there will be capital ships. They are planning on having guild ships, and some of the plans they would like to have for this would be capital ship battles. Now, from what I understand, they're not quite going as far with guild ship battles, but the capital ship battles is something that they're striving to get into this expansion when it's released. Again, free roam space flight, and we know open space PvP is also confirmed with the capture and hold points, similar to like the war zones are now. Now, as this was described to me, quote, open space PvP as well as fleet forming, aka with your capital ship, and why you can have capital ship battles. You'll actually be able to, like a co-op, bring people in, and you can have your capital ships do battle too in some of these open space PvP maps. It will have war zones in space, as we will see shortly in a screenshot provided by swtor-mined that shows the controls. It also has a screenshot of some in-game gameplay, and some of the UI looks similar to what we see now in the cap and hold war zones, like the Alderaan one. They described it as war zones in space being Battlefront 2 type in style, and the combat looks to be something, by those who have seen it and have related this information to me, looks to be something similar along the lines of EVE Online plus Freelancer plus X-Wing and TIE Fighter, rogue squadron-ish type stuff. So, needless to say, if BioWare can pull all this stuff off, I think we could finally put a lot of the hate that this game has to rest. And say what you want about how the game was launched and everything else. Obviously people are enjoying the game, as I've mentioned before on previous episodes. I've enjoyed the game enough to have 2 accounts at this point, both subscription based and one free to play account that I let my daughter play around with because she loves the game too, and she loves Star Wars. Chip off the old block she is, but regardless, I'm having fun in the game and I enjoy the game. It's not to everybody's liking, but no game is, and that's something that gamers have to realize. But regardless, this will really put some meat on the bones of this game, and I think will bring a lot of people back in if they can pull this off and not somehow screw it up like they've done a few other things in the last year and a half. But anyway, let's take a look at this screenshot and see what we've got from swtor-mined and kind of see what our controls are going to be like. Alright, here is that datamined screenshot we've got from swtor-mined. As you can see, the picture on the left actually shows what our control scheme is going to be. The smaller picture on the right looks like some actual in-game screenshot of what the UI and everything will look like while we're participating. As you can see, we got some WASD controls here. Looks like it controls our speed and ability to dodge, aka the roll left and roll up right. We've got our fire weapons bound to the mouse buttons. Again, it seems typical of a shooter there. Neverwinter Online also uses that scheme in their combat mode, as well as does the current space missions that are in the game now. We've got a couple of targeting controls using E and R. It looks like almost like tab targeting there with the target nearest enemy. And our spacebar, instead of doing a barrel roll this time, will fire our boosters. And And it looks like, according to this control here, we're going to have at least one or more capture and hold type objective maps for our space flight. Now, it doesn't tell you here how we're actually going to control the ship. Presumably then it will act in a manner similar to what it does now, in that our mouse will control the targeting reticule and our ship will actually follow that targeting reticule. Again, no definite yes or no, this is off rails or on rails here just by what we're looking at. But some of the other stuff that was mined and some of the descriptions, plus again what I learned over a year ago, some insider knowledge. Yes, this is going to be free form space flight. We will no longer be on rails in this new space flight expansion. And there we have it. Something that definitely at this point looks interesting. Again, I've known about some of this stuff for over a year now, and of course, I took it with a grain of salt until as I take most things found on the internet and even relayed to me from somewhat reliable sources. You still got to take some of this stuff with a grain of salt until you see the proof for yourself, and I think I have seen some of the proof. Some of the other things which you'll find in this Reddit post that they've talked about off and on. I think a lot of this stuff is still unofficial, hasn't been officially confirmed, but there'll be multiple modes of group versus group space PvP, which, as I mentioned, I talked about, and that will most likely involve our capital ship battles. There's going to be tiered advancement to unlock different space combat upgrade items. So basically, you're going to be unable to lock loot and armor and upgrades for your ships. You will actually be able to level up your ships like you do your character. Each ship is actually going to have a separate talent tree and separate abilities, much like the 3 trees we have for each of our character classes at this point. And as such, of course, participating in these space battles will get us some fleet XP, some ship XP with which to level up our ships, stuff like that. And we will apparently also be getting some companions. Apparently there's going to be 4 new companions that will be space specific. And I believe that the article also has them by name. There's 8 altogether, 4 per faction. So you'll get 4 Republic companions and 4 Imperial companions that are unique to the space game. And apparently they will be able to help you out in the space missions, just like the current companions help you out in world missions, that kind of stuff. Now, apparently our current companions that we do have for the planetary exploration can also be involved in the space battles as well. At this point, we don't know how much or how that will work, but we're getting a bunch of good stuff, as I said, in this upcoming expansion. Now, now some of the time frame for this, we don't know yet. Again, we basically just learned that yes, the super secret space project is still being worked on. It is coming, even though they've pretty much been working on it since before launch. But some of the time frames I heard were that they were hoping to begin the announcements this fall or early winter, which already we've gotten the first official reveal, so to speak, a couple of weeks ago. So it looks like that timeline is on track. So presumably we will be hearing more official announcements and probably some official confirmation of what was datamined coming up in the next few months. Most likely after they launch 2.4 on the live servers, I would imagine we're going to start hearing a lot more about the super secret space project. Most likely that will be another DLC type expansion, and from the looks of things, this is going to be a lot meatier than Rise of the Hutt Cartel was. Um, so looks like they are going to hopefully begin beta testing that on the public test server, open beta testing essentially, um, at the earliest at the end, towards the end of the year. That might be something they're trying to shoot for the 1 year anniversary of the game, to try to get some gameplay into the hands of the majority of the gamers. Certainly they're going to have some closed beta testing before then, which they might even be doing at this point in time, because if you notice, if you have access to the public test server, the closed public test is no longer listed, so they might have yanked that off to do some early alpha and beta testing on the SSSP at this point. So we can probably look for getting our hands, our grubby little hands on this, maybe in December, definitely early January, and at the latest, I would imagine February. I would be looking to actually get some beta testing in on this. I would imagine in January we'll start getting our hands on this, and they are going to hope to have this released probably right around the same time frame as they did Rise of the Hutt Cartel. Sometime in spring, perhaps early summer. So at the very least, it looks like we might be having some real quality space flights, space content for Star Wars The Old Republic come April or May. So something to look forward to. So check out that link. Lots of good information there. And let us know what you think about this reveal and what you hope the Super Secret Space Project has in the comments below. Let us know what you think. Do you think they can pull it off? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that BioWare can come through for us this time and really put a lot of the haters to rest. That pretty much covers it for this episode. Thank you for watching. As always, don't forget about our website. If you like what you see, check it out. Check out the rest of our channel. We're going to have some more Star Wars The Old Republic stuff up, some more Guild Wars stuff coming. Lots more It's All in the Wrist stuff on its way, hopefully. Sooner rather than later. Our website at www.realmillenniumgroup.com. Check us out. We got our Defiance fan page, a couple of fan pages for Wizardry, Guild Wars, and SWTOR, and we are still working on Chapter 2 of our Exchange of Debts fan fiction for Defiance. I hope to have that up on the website within the next couple of weeks. I'm shooting before the end of the month to get this up. I'm trying to get at least a chapter up per month. That way I can actually have the whole novelization complete and available for free to read just in time for Season 2 of Defiance to start. So check back on the website with that. And if you like what you see, if you like reading the fan fiction, if you like Awesome Sauce for Games, if you like It's All in the Wrist, if you like seeing our gameplay footage, please, by all means, head to the website and pass a donation our way. It will help us bring you more content in the future and help us improve the content that we are bringing. Right now, hey, we're running on the cheap stuff, which is good. Shows you what we can do with the open source freeware, and I am definitely going to pass some donations onto the freeware I am using, because it's a good quality stuff that I have enjoyed using at this point to bring you the content. But until next time, I will see you in game.